What is going on, everybody? Round two. For the audio listeners, we were live for like a whole 50 seconds, and then the stream just broke. So we're trying this again. Welcome back to the PlayStation Drive. My name is Matt. This is episode 126. I'm joined as always by the Supreme Court of Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalonde. What's up, Court?
I love you, buddy, but you got to know that we are not live again.
What?
Yeah, dude.
I literally see. I see one in the chat. Hold on.
Hold on. All right. I don't know.
We are live. I see us.
Okay. Why can't I get it? Maybe it's just
new link, dude. New link.
All right.
Well, sorry about that, folks. No idea what happened there, but we're back. The stream the stream just broke on us without even us knowing. So that was fun. Welcome back. Stoked to be here. Supreme Court of Canada. How you doing?
Dude, yeah, like I said before, I'm good. Spent the whole weekend with my daughter. Checked out everybody's awesome stuff they were doing over at Extra Life. I stepped in cow poo. You know, it's a thing.
As you do. But I'm glad that you had a wonderful time with your daughter. Wishing her all the best on her birthday season. She deserves it. She's the best. But before we get into anything more, let's clean out this dusty old garage of ours, because if you are watching us live on youtube.com/carpoolgaming, thank you for rejoining us. Hit us with that like, subscribe, follow, that bell, do all that stuff. There's lots of stuff coming. To all the wonderful folks who joined us for Extra Life this weekend, we hit $8,500 out of our $10,000 goal. We could not do this without you. It's an incredible testament to this community and all the good that everybody did. There was dollars thrown our way for making Sean play Tears of the Kingdom again, which was a great time to watch. Played a bunch of Rocket League. It was a great time. Of course, we are still fundraising until year's end, so we're so close to that 10K. Hop on over there, do that thing. If you're listening to us on your podcast service of choice, 5 stars, review, just do it. We appreciate you. Thank you. And of course, we have extra bucks to toss our way, but really toss them to Extra Life for now. Head to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you toss in bucks, out comes a cornucopia of content for you to consume. Yeah, obviously we had to, in the spirit of Spider-Man 2 and in the incredible Spider-Verse movies, we had to just go ahead and do this one more time. Court, what's been on your playlist lately, my friend?
It's been beefy. So I've been playing Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lords. Now, it's interesting because Steve's in the chat and I was talking to him about the game. I was loving the game until you actually get into the game. So it's a VR game for the PlayStation VR 2. Ghostbusters, it touches me in certain areas, not in a bad way, but like Ghostbusters is something I grew up with in my childhood. And it's always been one of those things, just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where I'm frustrated that we never get a good video game. I think we've had almost technically one real good Ghostbusters game, but I felt in the VR sector, like this was the perfect opportunity to base one off the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. They didn't. They still made it look like that. So like, that's the cool thing. Like you're in there, it looks like you're a cartoon. They walk you through this tutorial and it's great. It's like you're busting ghosts. They give you this story. And then when you get into your headquarters and you see the Ecto-1 and you see everything, you're like, oh, this is going to be really cool. It becomes a multiplayer game.
Okay.
That you can play by yourself, but they'll have people just jump into your game and you need to play with other people. And even when you do these missions and you have to do 42 of them for some reason, they're not story missions. It's just 42 missions. And you technically have to play with someone else because they're hard playing by yourself. They've made to be multiplayer. Like take this thing and put it over there and you have 2 things going at the same time and ghosts attacking you. You don't have another player. And then they have this companion that's with you that if you give it a high five, it'll bring your life back after you've got slimed. They don't tell you the person's name. They don't give you any backstory on who this companion is. They're just called the companion. They even introduced this ghost at the very beginning of the game that they never speak about again. It's very weird. I feel like I'm playing a game where it was going to be something and then it turned into something else. And as I said to you before, I feel given the amount of people that have a PSVR 2, to make a game that needs to be multiplayer is a tough sale. Especially,
is it on other platforms and is it crossplay?
It is on other platforms and is not. To my knowledge, it's not crossplay. I will double check.
I'm gonna check. Go on though.
It is definitely on Meta. Still, I don't think there's enough of a player base to make this an online multiplayer game. Using the wand is awesome. Trapping ghosts is really cool. Using your scanner is really cool. It has a lot of cool things. It's just we already had that multiplayer Ghostbusters game on the PlayStation, on the Xbox, and it was good. But once again, multiplayer games, you're either in or yes from the press.
It is crossplay. It is crossplay across Meta Quest 2 and Meta Quest 3. Just so people are aware. So like it isn't just locked to the PSVR 2 base, but regardless, how many more people also have Meta Quests with this game on top of it?
Only once have I ever been playing it and someone else has wanted to join my game, where you go in the headquarters and there's people there, and it was a younger gamer and he was screaming into the thing and I was just like, you're banned. So I'm frustrated because as a fan of Ghostbusters, I think you can still make a Ghostbusters game, making it a single player story driven game. And I think this was the perfect vehicle for it. And I feel like they didn't pull it off. It is what it is. I've also been playing Just Dance 2024. That is right now my daughter's favorite game by far. We've been playing on Switch. We do that for family fun night. There's all these different modes, like exercise mode and all these different features that they have in the game. She couldn't care less. She picks a couple songs, puts them in a playlist, and she just wants to play the game and dance. She wants me to do it. She wants my wife to do it. She's having her birthday party, and she wants her friends staying over, and they're going to do Just Dance. So she's loving that game. And nope, sorry. I've also been playing NHL 24. We'll move on from that. There's a really cool thing going on. They got some awesome stuff going on in that game right now. I was playing Call of Duty. I finished the campaign today. It is just over 4 hours to finish this thing. It is, it's a thing. I don't know, man. I don't understand. You hop into it and it has all this great cinematics. You think you're hopping into this amazing campaign, and then you're playing Warzone after. Like, that's pretty much what happens. You're playing this campaign, and it feels like you're playing Warzone with cutscenes. Because they have you in this prison, and that is really cool. All this cool stuff happens, and then as soon as you get out of there, I don't mind the open world aspect of it. I truly don't. But I think they're just trying to go for something different. I don't think they hit the mark. It revolves around Makarov again. It's really cool. The cutscenes are really cool, but it doesn't have those Call of Duty moments that we get in our campaigns, those heartbeat moments, those crazy action moments that happen and these huge spectacular things going on. None of that happens. And when you're in this open world and enemies, it's pretty easy just to get out of the way and just go around them. And just, I don't know. I think with a Call of Duty, I really like the linear, and I don't think that unless you're playing multiplayer, open world works.
Okay, I'm curious to hop in because I actually won it. I never win anything, Court.
Oh yeah, sorry. I have to preface in saying thank you Activision for providing me a code for Call of Duty, and thank you Ubisoft for providing me a code for Just Dance.
Yeah, so like I actually won it. I never win anything, Court. All these contests, I never win a thing. But shout out to Geek Life Mike over on X. Entered his giveaway and won it because, you know, with you talking about it so glowingly when it came to the multiplayer with, like, you know, friends of the show, Steve McVary and others who were like, we need to squat up on this once multiplayer hits. I was like, okay, let me hop in here. I won it. Super, super stoked. Again, massive thank you. And I was going to start the campaign this weekend, and then all I see was people saying how bad the campaign is. Now, I'm never the player when it comes to Battlefield or COD. I almost never play through the campaign when it comes to multiplayer shooters. Generally, I just couldn't be bothered to do it, but I was like, you know what, this is a week early. You know, the multiplayer obviously hits this coming Friday or Thursday, whatever it is, and I'm excited to check it out. And then my excitement waned massively. I'll probably still load it up just to check it out to see if it sticks, but I'm excited to jump into the multiplayer with you, because that is the main thing that I'm very much looking forward to.
And you can still play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer right now. You can still get stuff towards your progression, but the gun mods don't carry over, if I got that correctly. Also, the trophies are DLC. It's weird. It's so I guess on Xbox it has an 1,000 achievement score and it's its own thing. But when I go into my trophies in the game, it's under Modern Warfare 2. So it's real. So this is what it looks like. So it shows up as a DLC.
I wonder if, like, they're gonna fix it by the time the game actually hits on Friday, because it's
hopefully the as always with Call of Duties, there's a lot of difficulty level trophies. There are some really cool ones. There's a couple ones that I was watching online to get. I actually got one that was really hard and didn't even realize it. Maybe I guess it's not that hard. I got it by an accident, but it is a DLC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind
Steve,
of.
I'm 100% down and playing this weekend. Like
Yeah, let's
I
frag out
really
this weekend.
enjoyed. I walked away from the multiplayer beta saying I'm in on this game this year, and then I played the campaign, and I was like, wah wah. Like,
Wah,
this is.
wah.
I know this sounds terrible. IGN giving it a 4. I get it.
Yep.
I wouldn't if I had to give it a number from between 1 and 10 right now. I think it's a 6, because
Mhm.
I think they tried something different, and I have to respect them for that. Because they've had this same thing, but I also have to go down that path of, and I've said this before, when a developer has the secret sauce, don't mess with it. Like, people got mad about the Vanguard campaign. They get mad about whatever. This, you have a reason to be like, what the heck? But the rest of
Yeah.
it, like, at least they're giving you a story and they're giving these huge set pieces. And that's the thing with Call of Duty. Like, when you first start this campaign, you're like, wow, this is a Call of Duty campaign. And then all of a sudden you're like, you literally, Matt, get dropped out of a plane and you parachute down like you're playing Warzone in a mission. And then you literally are just in the open world. And then you have to go to these 4 question marks and do these objectives like you're playing Warzone. And I was like, ooh, like you didn't even hide it on this one.
So Steve in the chat, on Xbox, it's a unified achievement list with the Modern Warfare 2 under Call of Duty. So there you go. So that's the clarification. So this seems to
Okay.
be whatever they're doing across achievements and stuff. But we will talk more about Call of Duty next week.
But
There's no platinum trophy.
Mm.
There's no platinum. Again, it seems like even on Xbox, the achievements, whatever they did with it is strange. We'll see what happens between now and next week. As for myself, outside of that, I've been completely lost in Alan Wake 2. I finished the first one, really enjoyed it, and then completely FOMO'd out straight into Alan Wake 2. And I am loving it. I was not expecting to be as engrossed in it as I am. I was not expecting to like the first one as much as I did. It is gorgeous. Bar none, one of the most beautiful games graphically I've ever seen. Like, I genuinely think there's conversations that this could be the best looking game on PS5.
So
I genuinely think
Control, like when we first saw Control, we're like, this is the best looking game on the PlayStation 4.
yes, it's stunningly beautiful. I am like, because you play through 2 different storylines. I think I'm about halfway on each of them. Really loving it. It's spooky, it's weird. There was a sequence, I'm not going to spoil anything, that I played last night that will go down with one of the most head-scratchingly, bizarrely awesome sequences in any video game I've ever played. It's just so out there and so ridiculous and so much fun. The game it's gotten me a few times. It's a spoopy game, but it's more of like
spoopy.
Yeah, very spoopy. The stuff that got me more is the jump scares, because there are moments where like they'll just like flash in front of the screen, not to do with anything going on. It's not like big enemies jumping out at you. That stuff has gotten me a couple times, but like I'm not too scared in the minute-to-minute gameplay. Again, the jump scares are what get me, but the environment and everything is just this like really weird, dour, kind of like strange, very Stephen King-ish kind of like layer.
So maybe I will like this.
It's very the gameplay feels great. The environments are super well designed, super beautiful. It's really good, and I'm very excited to keep going with it. I'm going to pull in a question from the audience, because Black Wyver wrote in saying, how scary is Alan Wake 2, comparing it to other survival horror games, asking for a friend. So I'm not a big survival horror guy. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake this year and really loved it, but I was never really scared playing it. This one, like I said, the jump scares have gotten me a few times, but I'm not really scared playing it as much as like oh my god, what was that kind of thing here and there. But that's just kind of it for me. But I'm really enjoying it. And Nagachaka also writes in asking a question from Matt, which game was more spoopy? See, Resident Evil 4 Remake or Alan Wake 2? So far, Alan Wake 2. Resident Evil 4, I'm not as usually scared when it's like, oh, there's like a zombie, here's like the jump scare thing.
Yeah, but it's not real. Alan Wake 2 is going for like that realism, right?
Well, it's not really, because it's like it's still like supernatural stuff, and that stuff gets to me more than like the zombie stuff sometimes. So I think Alan Wake 2 is more spoopy than Resident Evil 4 Remake, personally.
So question for you, because everybody is pretty much, it's interesting. We're this is game of the year. This is game of the year. Like I'm at this point where like Zelda, you're not really in the conversation anymore, because from what everybody is saying, it is now between Baldur's Gate and Alan Wake 2. I
don't think you can take Zelda out of the running. I think there's a lot of people who really love it who may not play the other games. So you may end up having a massive discussion here. I still think it's in the running. But Alan Wake 2, I can totally see so far the argument for it being game of the year. I can 100% understand that. for me now, Baldur's Gate 3 and Spider-Man 2, and honestly, Alan Wake may creep up there by the time I'm done with it. I'm shocked. Again, I had zero hype coming into this, and I've been
Somewhere
really
now,
enjoying.
there's a chocobo crying.
Somewhere, yeah. Final Fantasy 16 was great, but is compared to what's come, it's not game of the year. We have a couple news stories we're going to hit on, and then we're going to be ranking. So we got kind of funny, and IGN put out like a PlayStation tier, not a tier, like a bracket battle for deciding the best PS5 games. So we're going to do that, but let's hit a couple news stories quick on our way to that. And there, I'm going to put, you know what? Let's start with Bungie, because we got some Bungie news. We spoke on this briefly on the show last week, but we had more news come out. We have more confirmations because Bungie is the latest PlayStation studio to be hit with layoffs coming from Tom Ivan. Addressing the job cuts, Bungie CEO Pete Parsons calls today, quote unquote, a sad day. While the scope of the job cuts is currently unclear, Bloomberg's reporter Jason Schreier claimed Bungie CEO Pete Parsons informed employees. Hold on, I'm going to say, because I think it was confirmed that it was around 100 people that lost their jobs.
Including the sound designer.
There was some really shocking people that lost their jobs, and I'm just going to bring in the B to the A of this story, because Bungie has also went ahead and delayed Destiny 2's next expansion and delayed Marathon. The Destiny 2, the final shape expansion, was announced in August when it was given a February 27th, 2024 release date. Now it is being pushed to hold on,
2025. You could just say it.
Wait, hold on. No. So Bungie's next game was announced.
Yeah, no. Bungie's next game
was delayed to 2025.
Is going to be moved to 2025, and then the expansion for Destiny 2 is June.
It's June. Okay, I can't see that somewhere. Oh yeah, until next June. There you go. So it's being pushed by about 4 months. Court, obviously, we've spoken about a lot of layoffs this year. We've spoken about a lot of people losing their jobs. It is awful. Obviously, we hope everybody lands on their feet. But what do you think is going on at Bungie right now?
Well, one of the interesting things that I caught from this was, after reading Jason Schreier's article about it, if Sony doesn't buy Bungie, they might have shuttered because of
that seems to be.
So what has happened is their newest expansion did not go over well, and they lost their player base. And I think we've seen a lot of this happen when, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again, hey, guess what? When you found the secret sauce, just stick with it. Stop trying to innovate, because sometimes it just doesn't work, especially in something that's been going a long time. Look what just happened with Fortnite. They just broke records by just saying, hey, here's the old Fortnite that you love. Right? And Destiny tried to redo it. As you know, I've downloaded everything and I started getting into it, and then all these games came out, and I'm going to get back to it. But my brother, who's a huge Destiny player, he was like, yeah, they tried to do something different, and the fan base got mad. And you know what? They voted with their wallets, because everybody just stopped playing it. So what my guess is they're just going to retool the newest expansion that's coming out, that was supposed to come out, and now it's going to, and now they're going to bring it out in June, because they need to reset it. And it's interesting because they were the ones who walked in on The Last of Us, which we don't have to bring up the article, but that is still coming, supposedly, according to the game's director. But they were the ones who got into that and were like, this isn't going to work. Yet they didn't have the hindsight to realize what they were doing wasn't going to work. So my guess is, if the next expansion doesn't work, here's my, I'm guessing here, but maybe we don't see even Marathon in 2025, because Destiny is too big of a franchise to let this happen to it. They need to fix it. They need to do something. Do something for the fan base. Maybe bring back old maps that everybody liked, or bring back old storylines, and do something, because they really jumped the shark and they lost a significant amount of their fan base, and that's not good. And that's what happens with these games of the service, that unfortunately, if you piss off your fan base, because they're the ones who are coming to it every day, your game's toast.
Yeah, I'm really curious, because I played a bunch of Destiny 1 and 2 at launch, and enjoyed my time with them when I played them. But I'd be curious to hear from the Destiny fandom whether they would want a Destiny 3, or do they want a Destiny that they just kind of use as a platform, like almost a Fortnite, and then add in expansions into that continually moving forward. Because in my mind, I wonder if Destiny seems to live in this weird world between, yes, it's a live service game, and yes, it's a shooter, but it's also almost an MMO, but it's also not. It fits in this weird middle ground in my mind, that I wonder if they focus less on the expansions and kind of the lifespan of the entirety of the game and more on the next entry, or do they pivot and then now they kind of make it a platform and move forward that way? Like, I'm kind of curious which would be the better way to go, because you're right. They've spent way too much money on Destiny as an IP to now like to let this happen to it. So I think they're going to have some real, top level all the way down conversations to figure out what is next for this, because from what I understand, there isn't a ton of hype heading to this last expansion. There is, because this is kind of like the culmination. This is supposed to be the last one. So I'm sure people will hop in, but like they're going to have to really talk to their audience if they want this thing to land and finish well. You mentioned this already, but I'm going to bring this in real quick because that's right. The game director of The Last of Us PS5 multiplayer project says he's still working on it, coming from Push Square, written by Sammy Barker. We've been expecting Naughty Dog to officially pull the plug on Last of Us Online multiplayer project any moment now, but apparently it does still have a small team dedicated to incubating the idea. And the project's game director, who previously hadn't tweeted since the end of August, has provided a small update. Vinit Agarwal teased, "Yes, I'm still working on that game." So, they're still working on it. We don't have anything more to go off of. Court, does this thing ever see the light of day, or is this going to get, taken out back and taken care of?
This frustrates me as someone who, loves The Last of Us. They made that, what was it, 25 or no, 15 or 10 games they wanted by 2026 that are all free to play,
live service
games. And the multiplayer was so good in The Last of Us. I get wanting to make everything live service, but I think it's always 5 years behind. Whenever they're like, I want a live service game, by the time they get there, it's already too late. And I think with the live service games, there's a lot already taking up that space, and it's tough to break in. I know it's not impossible, and The Last of Us is huge, but I almost, at the same time, unless you're giving us a story with The Last of Us, I don't see how it works. And obviously it wasn't, but I wish they would just say, you know what, let's just make it a multiplayer component and, give us the multiplayer and we'll just play it as a multiplayer. Don't play it as a live service. Just play as a multiplayer. No loot boxes, no nothing. Just the multiplayer. That's it.
Yeah, I hope at the very least we just get, because again, Factions was so good. It was so really unlike a lot of what was around it at its time, and I'd love to see it come back. If they bring it back as this big, almost, open world live service thing and it sticks to landing, I think I almost wonder if the success of the TV show had anything to do with them wanting to keep it alive, because they know they can hit a large audience with it if this thing lands properly. But again, I just want something. I want something.
Oh, one last thing about Destiny and most of these, you want to bring Destiny back and you want to save this game, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes free to PlayStation Plus subscribers who have the extra tier, because one, if console warring has shown us anything, when something huge hits their service, everybody jumps in and tries to tweet its own horn. But you're going to get a lot of people that didn't play Destiny or haven't played it in a really long time to jump in and play that game. And I think that needs an influx of players again. Like, give them everything up to that point. Be like, here, everything that we have released for this game is free. Come in and jump in and play it only if you have PlayStation Plus. And I think you're going to get users. And I think a lot of these live service games, the ones that succeed 9 times out of 10 are free.
Yeah.
The ones that don't are the ones that we are charged for.
Free and monetize well. Monetize Fortnite not egregiously.
Perfect.
Agreed.
Buy skins, whatever, but you don't pay to win. You pay to whatever you want your character to look like.
Exactly. And the battle passes, again, if you get enough coins, you can roll over and get the next one. They do it in a really great way. But we're going to touch on a couple last things here before we go into our ranking. Spoiler warning for Spider-Man 2. One of these, we're going to talk about 2 stories here. We'll keep it brief. I would jump ahead a few minutes if you don't want anything spoiled, because these will spoil the ending and an Easter egg. So just spoiler warning, tossing this out now. Final warning here. Just make sure that you don't get spoiled, because here we go. Starting off with a story that we've kind of already spoken about, coming from Jordan Midler over on Video Games Chronicle. Spider-Man 2 creator once again references Daredevil. A reference to the character was re-added to Spider-Man 2 this week. We talked about this where they kind of like they were asked in an interview on IGN that there was nobody there. The place had been put up for
they took the name off the board.
Yeah, and now it's back.
Yeah.
So the way that he was talking about it was very like It didn't feel like we screwed up and now we're trying to pivot. It felt very intentional. So that is back. Court. And I'm not sure if you've seen this, but there was also other stuff going around where they found this room in New York that seems very The Hand. Yes. Do you think?
Yeah, continue.
Do you think we're getting Daredevil DLC?
Yes. I don't. Brian Indahar is very careful on what he says, and he has not been careful with regarding Daredevil. If they're not giving Daredevil, this is the biggest troll in the history of video games, because there is Easter eggs of Daredevil. There is taking away the Murdoch law firm and bringing it back. There is the developers of the game continually talking about Daredevil over and over again. I don't see how they don't bring back Daredevil. I don't. We had Black Cat was the last one, and we got Hammerhead, and so Hammerhead was the villain, but we had Black Cat as our companion. I think Daredevil is the companion for Miles. I think it's happening.
See, that could very much do a Kingpin DLC, bring Daredevil in, or The Hand, and then you have a grounds for something right there. This to me screams like a Game Awards trailer confirmation. This to me screams like the DLC announcement coming from the Game Awards, because also in this DLC, I'm going to bring in our final news story, our final spoiler story, coming from The Gamer written by George Foster. Insomniac confirms who is the main Spider-Man. Insomniac Games have confirmed which of the two Spider-Man is the main Spidey moving forward following the events at the end of Spider-Man 2. As is the case with the most Marvel properties nowadays, the ending of Spider-Man 2 sets up many things for the future and leaves us with just as many questions as it does answers. After struggling with his identity because of the symbiote's influence at most of the game, Spider-Man 2 ends with Peter Parker taking a step back from the mask and focusing to build up the Emily May Foundation, leaving Miles Morales as New York's only Spider-Man for a while, which is confirmed as he swings off to save the day while Peter remains at his house with MJ. So this felt very, very specific to me. This felt very intentional. This, to me, does not mean that Peter is not coming back. I guarantee you that's going to be a midway through Spider-Man 3 thing. Going up, you don't do Green Goblin without Peter Parker. You just don't. But Miles will be the focus going forward.
Green Goblin kills Peter Parker? Yeah,
that is something I hadn't considered.
There's your arc.
That would actually be a very interesting inversion if you have.
They pretty much said that this will be the end to, what did he say? The Spider-Man story. So if Miles is your new Spider-Man, they're putting an end to the Spider-Man story with Spider-Man 3. It doesn't say that there isn't going to be a game in between, but Spider-Man 3 will be the end to the Spider-Man story.
You think Marvel will let them kill Peter?
They've done it in the comics a million times. It's not a big deal.
I think they might. If you do the classic Green Goblin, here's a choice, but you stick Gwen Stacy in, you take Gwen Stacy out, put Peter in to make it for Miles, maybe.
And it's powerful.
Maybe.
And because we already, spoiler again, we know Silk is going to be in the next one. So you're going to have a Spider-Man and a Spider-Woman. Like, you're going to have something. You need Miles has already gone through so much, right? And this is we're just having fun, having a conversation here. Where is his arc? Where is his trauma? I'm like, what, you going to kill his mom? You going to kill Genki?
Yeah, because you can't have a Spider-Man without trauma.
It's true.
Like, no, genuinely.
They just did a whole movie about it, right?
Maybe. Maybe that would be a pretty brilliant fake out to make you think you're about to play as Peter and then he dies instead.
Dude, I think it would be amazing. I think it would be a crescendo to, dare I say, the best superhero video game series ever. And I am a Batman fan.
I like this. I like where your head's at, Court. This could be very interesting. This could be very interesting.
Think it's a good arc, right? Because we know that Green Goblin's next. So
yeah,
don't talking spoilers here. Green Goblin's in the next game. Like, if you played the last one, Green Goblin's in the next game. The two cutscenes we get at the end, one is a Green Goblin one, and one is a Miles Morales one with Silk. So the two things that we're going to be talking, neither one of them had Peter Parker in it. I think it is perfect that if we even started as Peter's trying not to be in the limelight, Green Goblin's going after Peter. Peter gets it. Peter has to choose between him dying or MJ dying, and Peter dies. Saving
It might not even be MJ. It'd be choosing between Peter and Haley.
Yeah, good point.
We're going to put this in our back pocket. We're going to have a spoiler cast. We need to do that and talk about all things. But, dude, let's talk. Because, hold on, I'm just trying to find it here. Where is it? Here we go. We're going to talk about the best PS5 game. This, of course, came from IGN and beyond. They were doing a bunch of stuff for Extra Life. And I saw this and I was like, we have to have a conversation. We have a list here, a bracket of a bunch of these games. And we got to talk about what we think is the best PS5 game. So, whoa, okay, cool. We're gonna start up in the circle corner here. Astros Playroom versus Uncharted Legacy of Thieves.
Oh, that is so mean. I'm gonna have to choose Astro all day long.
I'm with you. There's just something about Astro. Whoa, there's just something about Astro. I like. It's not going to go any further than this, but it deserves a nod. I love Legacy of Thieves.
Definitely not now that you just did what you did there, but.
I love Legacy of Thieves.
Is this the one that IGN did? Because
they did this on PS I Love You and I think Beyond or some respect. It was a random thing. It was a random selection.
Okay, all right.
Ragnarok for Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Me too. I love Ragnarok. Again, fantastic game, but Spider-Man 2 hits more for me.
Also, I think unlike Spider-Man, where I think the story continues very well, I think with 2018 God of War, it was so good that it was almost I'm saying God of War Ragnarok was good, but I still think 2018 God of War was better than Ragnarok. Like, it's just one of those things. It's just
I think they sit right alongside each other. I just like Spider-Man more. Like, that's just it.
Yeah. Way better.
Rift Apart versus Death Stranding.
Rift Apart.
I'm with you.
Think twice.
Yeah, I'm with you entirely. Returnal versus Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut.
Hold on.
Nope.
I would actually give this to Returnal.
Nope.
Only because Ghost of Tsushima is a Game of the Year collector's thing. That game was a PS4 game first.
But it had Iki Island DLC that's still better than everything in Returnal. Yeah, the story is phenomenal.
Chat, we're split here. Chat, is it Returnal or is it Ghosts? We need you to weigh in here.
No, Kev doesn't count because he's like Captain. No, Kev's opinion.
No.
Xbox gamer. Nope.
No. We got the folks. No. We got one for Returnal.
Oh, come on.
Returnal. That's Steve too. Okay. Bowsah, let's go. Okay. Returnal it is.
Kevin and Steve, both Xbox gamers, and we're taking their opinions.
Dude, Returnal it's really good. It's really, really good. It's not a U game, but it's really, really good. Yeah. Miles versus Destruction.
Oh my God, that's not even fair. Miles Morales all day long.
Destruction. As if.
Don't do that.
Miles 100%.
Yeah, we know that.
Horizon Call of the Mountain versus The Last of Us Part 1.
Horizon.
I'm with you. I think that still is one of the best things on PSVR 2.
Yep.
Last of Us Part 1 is incredible, but again,
if we're saying that Ghost of Tsushima is a PS4 game, then Last of Us Part 1 is a PS3 game. A PS3. This is tough. Okay.
This is tough.
You guys have all convinced me that Ghost of Tsushima is just a remaster and it's a PS4 game. Last of Us Part 1 is the greatest video game of all time for me, but I still look at it as a PS. Like, I got it on the PS3 and then I got it again on the PS4 and then I got it again on the PS5. It's still the same story.
Yes, and while Part 1 is the definitive way to play it, I don't disagree. I think we need to show some PSVR 2 love here, and I think Horizon.
See, now we're getting into this remake versus remastered. All right, if it is a full-blown PS5 game, if the chat's saying that, then I can't not go with Last of Us.
Fine. I can see the argument for it. Last of Us. Fine. Listen to the Xbox gamer.
You guys got all up in my thing about on Ghost of Tsushima because it's still.
But that's different. No, Ghost of Tsushima is a remaster. Last of Us Part 1 is a remake. Different. Demon Souls versus Sackboy.
Sackboy.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, neither one of us are FromSoft people. Sackboy is just joy incarnate. Like, it just is.
It's a phenomenal game.
Forbidden West versus Gran Turismo 7.
Forbidden West.
I'm with you. HFW.
Once again, hey, it's a PS4 game, by the way.
Forbidden West? It hit simultaneously. That's I guess I see your point. Chicory versus Baldur's Gate 3.
What?
Chicory versus Baldur's Gate 3.
I have played zero of these games.
I love Chicory. I love Chicory, but it's Baldur's Gate 3 all day.
Yeah.
You and your daughter should play Chicory, actually. I think it's on Extra.
Okay.
It's about a cute dog with slight mental health issues, but you like paint and color the world around it, and it's about like finding your passion and stuff.
Slight mental health issues. Don't we all?
It's
have
brilliant though. It's adorable,
health?
and you can literally, the entire thing is a canvas. You can color it in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4 remake versus Sifu.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, RE4 remake made me a believer again. I love Sifu, but RE4 is just one of the greatest games ever. Ghostwire Tokyo versus Stray.
Stray.
I
didn't like
again.
Tokyo.
I liked it. Didn't love it. Final Fantasy VII remake / Intergrade and Deathloop.
Well, Final Fantasy remake is a PlayStation 4 game. It is not a PS5 game.
But Intergrade is no. This is the same semantics as Ghost.
It's the exact same as Ghost of Tsushima.
I personally love Deathloop too, though. So I'm totally.
I have to go with Deathloop because Final Fantasy and Ghost of Tsushima, they're the exact same to me. If we're basing criterias, Final Fantasy remake is a.
That was just my argument. We went with
No. I hate Deathloop too, Kev. I did not like Deathloop at all.
I really liked it, and I'm not like
design. It was just.
I really liked it. Final Fantasy 16 versus Disco Elysium.
I have to go Final Fantasy 16 because I really liked that game until the boss fights were just way too damn long.
Disco Elysium is one of the best games of all time.
Isn't that a PS4 game though? This is just the final cut.
This was a PC game. It was a PC game first. That's a good question.
I believe Disco Elysium. Hold on.
That's a very, very.
I believe it is on PS4. PlayStation 4. Yeah.
Listen, I have no problem with Final Fantasy 16, but like this should Disco Elysium is one of the best games ever.
So this is just a read. It's just bringing it back out. If we're going on
Kena
thing, right?
Versus Elden Ring.
I
think it has.
I have never played Elden Ring, and I really liked Kena, but I know Elden Ring's the better game.
Yeah, Elden Ring is just. It is one of the best. Again, it's not necessarily a you and I game.
That goes against everything I talk about because I always hate that. Like, I gotta take this game because everybody else says it's good.
But listen, I could see the argument. But like, Kena is incredible,
Kena's
but great, it's not really better than Elden Ring.
But I didn't play Elden Ring, so my vote is Kena. But Elden Ring will win. See?
Okay, fine. Witcher 3 for Street Fighter 6.
Okay, Witcher 3 is not a PS5 game. Give me a
no.
break.
But like, I really don't care about Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, so you know what? Just for the heck of it. Sorry,
Witcher 3.
Sorry, Ryan. Witcher 3.
It Takes Two or Forspoken.
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two all day. Yeah.
Forspoken.
We haven't even played Forspoken, which tells you enough.
Yeah, it shouldn't be spoken about again.
Astro vs. Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2.
It's Spider-Man 2.
Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank vs. Returnal.
Ratchet and Clank. That game is. Hey, look. Oh, we have two of their games up against each other. That's not even fair.
Miles versus The Last of Us. I'm Team Miles.
Last of Us all day long.
Chat,
if we're going by criteria, that can't even be a conversation. Last of Us is one of the best games of all time.
I don't disagree, but I also think Miles is ridiculously good.
Oh, Steve, I only put Witcher 3 because we thought it was hilarious. We did that out of spite. That's more a spiteful pick. Let's be honest here.
Chat, what are we feeling? Miles versus The Last of Us. I totally see the argument, Court. I love Miles.
It's literally one of the greatest games of all time.
All right, fine. I'm fine. I'll give it to you.
All right.
Sackboy versus Horizon.
Horizon.
I personally like Sackboy
all right,
more.
Chat. I liked Horizon. I thought it was very good.
Sackboy versus Horizon. Horizon didn't end up landing the way that I really wanted it to after I thought about it.
Right? The DLC was good.
DLC was good.
Thank you, Steve. Horizon was very good.
Okay, fine.
Very good game. The mechanics are phenomenal. They redid the combat.
Baldur's Gate 3 versus RE4.
I'll let
you.
Matt, this is a you. You can just make
it's Baldur's Gate 3.
This whole side is Matt.
Stray versus Deathloop.
Well, Stray. It was Deathloop I didn't like at all.
Fine. I really like Stray. I think it's really cute.
Stray was a good game.
Final Fantasy 16 versus Elden Ring.
Final Fantasy 16, but Elden Ring.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Final Fantasy 16.
Now we're just knowing. Everybody hates us. Chat's just gonna.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Witcher 3 versus It Takes Two. It Takes Two. Yeah. Game. It Takes Two. Swinging back around here. Spider-Man 2 versus Ratchet and Clank. Insomniac.
You know it. Sorry, Insomniac for Spider-Man 2. You don't even have to think twice. We're about to have The Last of Us versus Spider-Man 2. This is what's about to happen.
The Last of Us versus Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're following that logic,
The Last of Us, and I'm literally wearing a T-shirt that I'm gonna make that choice.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Which came
Final
from
Fantasy
Universal
16 versus
Studios
It Takes
in
Two.
Florida, by the way. It Takes Two for sure.
I'm with you. I think It Takes Two age better.
So good. Yeah,
I think
it's a good game.
I love Final Fantasy 16, but the more time I've spent away from it, It Takes Two is one of the most creative games ever. Garbage story, but like a fantastic game. Spider-Man 2 versus The Last of Us. Spider-Man 2.
The Last of Us.
Spider-Man 2.
So, chat.
Yeah, chat. We need you guys. There's no way we're going to be able to come to an agreement here.
No.
Spider-Man 2 is incredible. It plays amazingly. It's full of heart. The Last of Us is
The Last of Us.
Listen, I think it would be a tougher decision if it was The Last of Us 2.
Thank you. Last of Us.
Come on, you guys.
Did you just turn the chat off there almost a sudden there? You just lost.
We almost just turned off the stream again. Thank you, Kev. You have good. Yeah. Thank you. Baldur's Gate 3 versus It Takes Two. It's Baldur's Gate 3 all day for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everybody that I've spoken to literally tells me if I had the time, I would like Baldur's Gate 3.
Court, you're not ready to have this conversation, but it's Baldur's Gate 3 over The Last of Us.
It is definitely The Last of Us.
It is Baldur's Gate 3 over The Last of Us. You're not ready to have this conversation, but
no, we are ready to have this conversation. Chat. Baldur's Gate 3 or The Last
Listen,
of Us.
we know they're going to pick The Last of Us, and I can understand the argument, but like Baldur's Gate 3 is one of...
You just wanted to pick what you want? That's fine.
I do want to just pick what I want. I'm curious, Court, after we're done this, let's both do our own.
Steve right now is like...
Baldur's Gate 3! Steve!
Hold on. He's laughing like Mr. Burns. He's doing the excellent thing because he knows he's getting my boil going.
Steve. Steve, okay.
Baldur's Gate 3.
I'm gonna give it 10 more seconds, chat. And then it's Baldur's Gate 3. 10, 9, 8,
no, that's no.
7.
Turn my PS5 instead of picking
6.
Oh, The Last of Us. Thank you, Sean. Oh my God. Thank you. We're tied.
Gonna return my PS5 instead of picking. Sean, when did you get here?
Oh,
what?
Yes. Victory.
No, it's tied 2-2 right now. We need a tiebreaker. It's me and Steve versus you and Sean right now. Chat.
Last of Us.
Chat. Baldur's Gate 3. Even Court was talking about cows earlier. Cows and bears, same group of animals, same family things. We know what he's... I've only played one of these. Bowsah, I know.
Sean does have veto power. He like...
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He kind of does.
No, he doesn't. I have writing power.
I'm gonna put this in our Discord, but I think you're gonna lose.
I think I'm gonna lose too, but it deserves to win. All of this is hurting me right now.
We need an answer.
Darathina with the
Bowsah.
We're 2-2.
Give the answer. I've only played one of them too, and I'm choosing The Last of Us all day long over a roll the dice game.
But Bowsah has taste. That's what I'm saying. Bring up a wheel.
The Last of Us. Bowsah's
bring up a wheel.
Bring up a wheel.
Okay.
Trust in the wheel. I can't, Sean. Not on The Last of Us. How are we a PlayStation podcast if we're gonna pick a D&D game?
Because it's the better game.
No, it is not. I bet you if there's Last of Us 2, Matt would be like losing his mind, crying, Abby, Abby, oh my Abby.
Yeah, 100%. Because The Last of Us 2 is the better game. But here we go. We're switching over here. It's time to trust in the wheel. Court, you ready for this?
Yeah, but this. Oh yeah, sure. What the heck? I know what I choose.
Come on, blue. Come on, blue. Come on, blue.
No, I don't trust the wheel. This is the dumbest.
That's right. It picked blue. It picked blue, knowing Baldur's Gate 3. The wheel has never failed. Sean, as you said, trust in the wheel. Trust.
Kev, all you had to do was vote, and we didn't have to do this stupid wheel thing.
Baldur's Gate 3 is the official PlayStation Drive champion of the best PS5 games. There we go. Obviously, this is all very legible. Court, we can put this up on Twitter after. Nope, you can obviously read this, no problem.
Nope.
Well, it's a good thing I have access to the Twitter. Saving this. There you go, folks.
Wrong in so many different ways.
It is so wrong. It's right. It is so wrong. It's right. Let's jump into some questions, and folks, community folks, let us know. Toss them into the Discord if you have them. Doing this in Pate was the right move. Yeah, obviously. obviously. Let's hop into some questions we have from the community, because we have a couple we need to talk about before we close out here, folks. If you want your questions on the show, hit us up in the Discord, hit us up on the X post, hit us up wherever you can to ask your questions, just like Drellesh did. Drellesh coming in with a two-parter with the PlayStation Portal launching in 10 days. Really?
Yeah.
What games are you most excited to try it out?
Yesterday, it's now 9 days. It's November 15th.
Will you continue to remote play your current games? How could the PlayStation Portal add some personal quality of life adjustments to how do you consume your games? Will you continue playing PlayStation games on your Steam Deck, or play them exclusively on the Portal now? So, Court, you're much more Team Portal right now than I think I am, because I'm happy with my Steam Deck. Like, I'm happy with it. I'm not going to be going out to spend the hundreds of dollars to get it. Steam Deck works great for me. I've been using it in the bed to play stuff, to play Alan Wake and stuff.
In the bed, eh?
Yeah. Where are you, Court? Is this a T1 for you? Still?
No, it is not. I never was. I said to you, financially, it makes no sense when my iPad and a controller work just the exact same. For me right now, I can use my DualSense on my iPad. I learned that while going away for work, and I was blown away how easily it worked. I've tested it out. You still get all the functions of the DualSense. So for me, I can just play on my iPad. I can put my iPad anywhere and just, wear my AirPods, and they'll work on my iPad. They won't work on the Portal. And I can just play the game. So for me right now, I don't see a use case for me because I travel with the iPad as well. But I do see the vision of it, that it's great if I was able to, not play games in the cloud, and I was able to actually download games on the handheld itself. I think I would be a day one, but because I already have something that does this and it's got a bigger screen, I don't personally need it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Drellesh, though, if this is a day one for you, and I'm going to actually open this up to the community. I want to try this. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to post a Google Drive link in the Discord later today. If you're getting a Portal, send us a minute-long video with your thoughts and impressions, and we'll talk about it on the show in a couple weeks. If you are getting the Portal, let us know. Drellesh also asked a question for the show. This is pointed to me. Is this a foreshadowing of things to come? Will Sony eventually sell Crunchyroll to Amazon? This was in reference to a Prime deal where you also get access to Crunchyroll for a little bit. Let me just pull it up here. You get a 30-day free trial of Prime and a 7-day free trial of Crunchyroll. No, I don't think this means that Sony's getting ready to sell anything. I think this is too important to them. And Crunchyroll has been doing a bunch of acquisitions and stuff in the last little while. I think that if anything, I hope they ingrain themselves more into one another. But I think this is just them trying to get their subscriber base up. Like, Sony doesn't have a movie or TV streaming platform that's outside of that crap. But anything to get them more people in the door. I
because I think Across the Spider-Verse just launched on Netflix,
something like that. Yeah. Ash_Trobot writes in and says, question: Have game plots gotten better or worse with time?
Well, after playing the Call of Duty campaign, I guess I'm going to go with worse. And even Assassin's Creed Mirage, I like the gameplay, the story itself. I was like, but I don't think I should say that, because there's a lot of games that have come out in the last couple of years, like Spider-Man 2. I thought that storytelling in that was the best superhero game I've ever played. Like, it was unbelievable. It was like playing a comic. So I think certain studios have gotten worse and rested on their laurels. I'd use BioWare as a perfect example, where they were the S tier of writing a story in a video game, and we don't even look at them in that way anymore at all. And then you look at Insomniac, who was making Ratchet and Clank games, and they went out and wrote the best superhero game ever, right? Like, it's just like, I think we are seeing the new age of the studios that we had on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, who are the top tier. Perfect example, Naughty Dog is not the top tier in PlayStation anymore. It's Insomniac. And Naughty Dog always was the top tier, and it's definitely Insomniac now.
I think that, and I'm just gonna say it, I think the best stories that we've gotten in gaming have been in the last decade. Full stop. And I don't think
story-wise, sure. Yeah.
I mean, as an industry wide, you have The Last of Us, you have Celeste, you have Chicory, you have Baldur's Gate 3, you have so many incredible games.
Saying this Chicory thing like it's supposed to mean something.
It's really good. It's really. I'm telling you, you and your daughter would love it.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right.
But you've had some of the best narrative writing in games in the last decade. I do think not that there weren't stories with good games with good stories before that. There 100% were. I just think the bar has been raised in the last 10 years to a place that we're getting far more quality story experiences than we ever were before. Because a lot of the time before that, games were just seen as go play the thing. It's an entertainment piece. Just go do your thing. And I think it's only really in the last 10 years or so that we've seen a lot of push from the industry at large. Again, there were studios doing this before to kind of raise narratives across the board. So I think they are only getting better. And I think as the line between gaming and everything else becomes more and more blurred, I think it's only going to get better.
But I also think these giant studios, and I'll use Activision's current campaign, they need to step their game up, and they need to make better story games. Or in Activision's case, don't do the story at all then. If you're going to give us what they just gave us, like, don't even bother giving us that. Like, it feels weird. It feels like they were in a certain direction, and then they were like, hey, you only have this certain amount of time to make it. And they were like, all right, let's figure it out. So I just, it's very curious. Like the studios like BioWare and all these other studios that used to make these compelling single player story driven games. And we have these other studios that have stepped in to make they've taken their idea and they're like, hey, do you know you can make this better? And they have. So I think we're getting a lot of phenomenal video games, and we're getting closer to movie level stories. I think actually we've hit it. I think we're hitting where movies and video games have the same impactful story.
Oh, I'd 100% agree. Like no doubt in my mind.
Perfect. My daughter cried to Spider-Man 2. That made her cry.
Same.
It was real tough. That Howard mission, she literally turned to me, and it was the first time we ever got to share a moment like that. And she just looked at me and she's like, Daddy, I am sad. And I was like, yeah, me too. Like that's a lot to deal with in a video game, and that's how powerful games have come. They're not like when we played the NES or the Super Nintendo. They were just fun. There was no powerful story. Now when a character dies in a game, you feel bad.
Yeah,
you just
100%.
Restart your life.
Yep, it's the things aren't the way that they used to be. But yeah, I think definitely games are getting better story wise. Our final question: Stephen Varley writes in, "Hi PS Drive, long time, first time. How many 5-year-olds can you realistically take in a fight?"
So I've heard these questions before. Realistically, as a parent, I'm going to act like it's not a big deal to hit a 5-year-old here. We're just going to act like it's not a big deal.
This is purely theoretical.
Yes, it's clearly theoretical.
For science.
They will definitely overtake you when there's around 10 of them. It's over. Because they're on your back, they're on you. It's over. You can take them off, but when the waves of these 5-year-olds come at you, it's over. Like 10 or 15 of them, they're going to take you down. 100%.
25. I think I can take 25.
I don't think you can.
I think I could. I think they are far. Listen,
you're gonna have a hard enough time with one.
Dude, I've been in classrooms. Okay, I've studied. You know what I mean? I've studied. Okay, the proper ways. Okay, there is theorem here. I think you could take 5-year-old. Man, one good hit and they're down. They're not zombie 5-year-olds. That is a more scary and different thing. They still understand pain. They still understand how things could happen. In an actual combat situation, no holds back, you can mow through 25 kids.
Are they just coming one at a time? But if they're coming all at the same time, 15 is going to take you down.
I think you can get through them. I think you could. I think you could take at least 20.
I think you're underestimating the power of a 5-year-old.
I think you're overestimating the power, the fragility.
I think I am.
You're underestimating the fragility of a 5-year-old.
I have been to a play place, and I have been overpowered by a bunch of kids in a ball pit. You are underestimating this.
But were you trying? You obviously weren't trying to inflict any harm.
Why would I try and inflict harm?
Exactly. But in this situation, you're not just standing there being like, oh, yuck, here come the kids. This is life or death, dude.
All right, then if this is me, I could take way more than you. I could take around 30 of them. Why not?
I could probably take like 40 of them then. If
I could take like 50 of them.
I'm like I could probably do like 75. I'm younger and more sprite than you are. I think if things slow down, I think I could take more 5-year-olds than you.
I would use the word younger, but that's about it to make the description difference.
No, I have a height advantage. They're gonna get to your eyes way faster than they're gonna get to mine with their little claws.
Fair. Oh my god, this is terrible.
This brings us to the end of the episode, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Let us know your thoughts and comments below. But of course, before we go, we have to thank all of our incredible patrons. We could not do this without any one of you. For all of you wonderful folks who are joined us at Extra Life, thank you. For all of you incredible patrons, thank you. But of course, we have to shout out our ultimate producers, Robbie Bob Miller, who you can find in the description below. They has a new podcast all about lists. Go check that out. Tony Baker, you can find at youtube.com/quest4pixels. Jonathan Brown, his link tree is pme.jib. Lee Navarro, who you can find at phoenixoverdrive.com, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Of course, the homies, Trucker Sloth and Cwagmire. Cwagmire, insane at Rocket League. Insane.
Dude, it's crazy that pretty much almost all the people you mentioned were with Sean.
There you go. That's why they're ultimate producers. Our platinum producer, RJ Kern, and of course, our gold members, Adam K., Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Bowsah, Brian Eck, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Hoppel, John 32, Markus O'Neill, Markus McCracken, MoSpankins, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. Thank you, everybody, for your support. We will be back next week. Stay safe out there. Peace.